Okay then guys, so with Outriders, Worldslayer is coming a lot of changes, and as of right now we have got a lot of mods that we may have come accustomed to, some that we may even call our best friends. But as you go into Worldslayer, this is going to be changing with a load of different moves for these same mods that you've been using this entire time, and some really critical changes that could really mean that you are going to be utilizing a lot more of the newer mods. Then we're going to be going through some of the big changes that are happening in game today. So with that being said, if you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated. And now let's crack into it. So the reason why these mod changes are so huge and why the changes are going to impact so greatly is because a lot of these are generically nerfs. What this essentially says to me is that these new mods that are going to be coming in from the newer weapons, the newer armor sets, these are going to be more of our primary mod sets. These are going to be what they want us to use primarily. This is the way that it's going to work. There is a few buffs that are going to be coming from it, and we don't actually know all of them, but from what we've seen in footage and stuff like that, we do already know quite a few things. So we're going to start off with Striga. Now, Striga is a 30% of critical damage is returned to you as health. Now, that is quite a decent mod. It doesn't get utilized all too often, although it is a really helpful one, and it has a 0.1 second refresh time, so there is a very fast refresh time on that one. But then when we look at the Mythos, we also see this triggers right here. Now it's 10% of critical damage is returned to you as health, and that has a 3-second refresh time. So not only are we losing 20%, we are also losing the refresh time on that, which means that this is borderline going to be useless. They've essentially made this that it's a relatively interesting health regeneration perk to a this is going to be sat at the bottom of the pile, don't even bother using it. This does get quite frustrating because the Mythos is a really cool weapon, and when we look at everything else that is on it, that is definitely going to be the one that you are going to change out for a mod of your own sort. Now, when we move into other ones, such as Life and Death, killing shots create a blast that restores 33% of max health to players. You can see the trend they're kind of running on here, right? With a 3-second refresh rate. Now, when we look at this weapon here, which is Sunfall, you can see that Life and Death has had an alteration to it. Killing shots create a blast that restores 20% of max health to players with a 3-second refresh rate. Now you can see so far that we've lost 13% to the max health, and the refresh rate has not changed. But essentially, this is going to be a very tedious motive on them trying to not regen so much health via mods. Maybe that's because they're bringing in a lot more mods that are going to be doing that, or I don't know. This just seems to be the case at the moment in time. When we look at Ravenous Locust, now this one is a interesting one because shots create a swarm of locusts dealing 258,208 damage over 6 seconds and inflicting weakness. The swarm affects all enemies within a 6-meter radius of the target while it lasts, and it's got an 8-second refresh time. Now, if we have that in mind, when we look at this weapon right here, which is the final penance, we can see that Ravenous Locust has now had a very large impact on it indeed, because right now shots create a swarm of locusts dealing 14.25 million damage over 6 seconds. Now the refresh rate on this has gone from around 8 seconds to 6 seconds. So what we're seeing is actually we are now getting a giant buff on this one, because for a 6-second damage time we had 258,000, and now for a 6-second damage time we've got a 14.27 million. So this is going to be something which is a really big motive, and you are going to want to utilize. We're still inflicting the weakness, we've still got the 6-meter damage radius, and we've still got the 6-second timer, which has been reduced by 2 seconds. So that is a insane change to such a mod. This is obviously something that wasn't utilized so much. It was utilized to a degree, but it wasn't really the big hard hitter with things like Claymore and stuff like that. This was not your go-to wanting to use. Anywho, we have other ones such as Judgment Enforcer. Now, Judgment Enforcer is a very interesting one as it impacts weapon damage. Shots mark enemies when reloading deal 3 times your weapon damage to every marked enemy. Marks are removed when you change your weapon, and this has a 1-second refresh rate. So let's look at this and take it into consideration. We've got 3 times your weapon damage on the marked enemies. When we look at this weapon right here, Judgment Enforcer, shots mark enemies, and when reloading, deals 10 times your weapon damage to every marked enemy. Marks removed when you change your weapon with a 3-second refresh rate. So we've increased the refresh rate by 2 seconds, but we have also added on another 7 marks on the weapon damage, so it increases by 7 times more. What this is telling me is that we are very much going down the motive of glass cannon usage. They don't want a lot of healable modifiers to be able to regenerate your health. They're going down more of the damage route, and we all know that damage generates health. So that is going to be extremely interesting, because some of the newer mods I'm starting to feel like now may have a primary health attribute to them, and that's just my generalization of what it could potentially be. That, or we are going to have a few more health modifying mods, a few more anomaly mods, and they're working on changing up the weapon damage mods to try and change the way that the meta works within the weapon styles. As we all know, the way that Outriders works is you can do so many different builds, but there's always one build that stands out. With these sorts of changes, this gives a lot more alterations and a lot more options for your guys' characters on how it is that you can run this. So with that being said, that's all we've got time for today. These are just some of the mod changes that you guys can expect to see over the next week or so. If you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe, post notifications turned on. Thank you so much again for watching, guys. I appreciate your faces, and as always, until the next time, I'll see you in the clouds.